count too.
Hey, Howie.
Hey, Chrissy. Here we are live. Chrissy's on the show for the first time.
Yeah.
Welcome to Beyond the Booth. Unfortunately, we had a Coach John Tidmore that was going to be on tonight, but unfortunately, he had a family emergency he had to take care of. Nothing major, just taking care of his mom and dad. So, man, Phil's here. I'm live from downtown High Point, and Phil is live from downtown Vegas, Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Phil, how, I know it's a step down leaving Valley Head going to Vegas, but how are you able to manage that?
Well, I'm high up. I'm on the 28th floor at the Treasure Island, right across from the Trump Tower. So I kind of sort of made myself. That makes me, that kind of sort of makes things better by not being at home.
Right, absolutely. And so like I said, we just found out about Coach Tidmore being preoccupied with something else, last second type deal, and so we just want to hop on here for a few minutes and let you know that we had planned on having him on tonight, but unfortunately he's not able to be on here. But we are going to run down a few of the guests that's going to be on here in the next couple of months. And Phil's got he's got a lot going on as far as you got your transplant picnic coming up this weekend. Then you got transplant games coming up in, is it June or July?
Yeah, July 5th through the 10th, I think. So that's coming up. Really looking forward to that because it's going to be very emotional. And of course, in the end game, it's to raise awareness for for people to be donors because a lot of folks are still walking this earth because of donors. And before I had mine, or I wouldn't be here. So there's a lot to those games, and it's to raise awareness. It's going to be a lot of fun because a lot of the donor families are involved in it too, so that really makes it emotional.
That's something Randy joins us real quick. His gorgeous face is on here. So
at a track meet,
hey, makes us look better, Howie.
At a track meet in downtown Chattanooga with a bum shoulder. Hey, yeah. But when you're talking about guests, I just want to tell y'all, excuse me, I booked Coach Zach Randolph, the brand new coach of Whitwell High School, to be on this summer. Also was on the today with Taylor Harvey from Ray County, who looks like to join us in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And it may be a different night than Monday. He threw something out that maybe we could just do a night of Ray County football and get him on a Wednesday night, and he could come on and talk to us. So Coach Taylor Harvey from Ray County, Coach Zach Randolph from Whitwell, both talked to today, will be in the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Good deal. Got a lot of guests coming up. We'll go through that list here in a second, but I'd like to jump back to something you mentioned, Phil, as far as donors' families being at the picnic and everything and at the games. Do you know who your donor was, or have you had any contact with their family?
No, I need to get in touch with you. You go through the Legacy of Hope, and I sent a letter one time to them and never heard anything back. And I need to do it again, reach out to them again, because I would like to meet them. I know it's probably very emotional for them because the young man that lost his life and made it possible for me to go on was 33 at the time. So I'm 4 years into this, but I would love to be able to meet the family. Because his legacy lives on. That means a lot, and it means a lot to families.
Right, absolutely. And I've been meaning to ask you that over the years, but I just hadn't got around to it. And since you mentioned that, I thought, well, let me bring it up and see. So I know that we got, I think next week, Coach Starkey's going to be on. The week after that, I think the week after that is going to be Coach Jeremy Smith from Geraldine, the boys basketball coach. You got a lot of the Hall of Fame inductees of DeKalb County that's going to be on over the next couple of weeks. So, Phil, if you would, go ahead and give us a rundown of that. Oh, I think Phil froze up on me. Anyway, Phil was telling me about some of the Hall of Fame people that was going to be on. is Jamie Vest is going to be on. It's going to be Coach Paul Benefield. Randy, you know any more people? Oh, there he is. Phil's back. All right.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. What you said, I heard you say Coach Benefield. Yeah, I think we've pretty much got him locked in for I think it's the 17th of June, which is the Monday after the Hall of Fame ceremony. And then I think with Hillary Phillips Wigley and Jamie Vest, I haven't got that locked in, but one of them's going to be on June the 3rd and one of them's going to be on June the 10th. I just haven't gotten that, officially set up on those two, but, they're going to come on and speak with us, because, that's a very meaningful thing. It's huge for their schools. It's huge for their families, and big for them because, you go into this, I know these coaches and all that stuff, they don't go into this thinking about going into the Hall of Fame. Like Coach Benefield said, when I talked with him, I sent him what his bio was, and he sent me back a message. I didn't realize my name was attached to all this. He said, it's kind of humbling. He said, you sit back and look at it. And Coach Tidmore told me that the same way. I was going to ask him about that tonight too. He won an award last year at the, not being inducted into the Hall of Fame, but he won an achievement award. And it was a hum when he sat down and wrote down all his accomplishments over the years. He goes, and Coach Benefield told me, he goes, I just went into this, to coach football games and just wanted to win. He goes, I never realized what it would amount to. And so, they don't foresee what's coming, but what's more important than anything is how they affect young people.
Oh, absolutely. And the things that, when I coached a little bit at a couple of different places, and the one thing that I told the kids, I said, I want y'all to win and I want y'all to do good, but I want to teach y'all about life as well, because the sports will be over with before you know it, but life will continue on forever, or, for as long as you live, you're going to have life, of course. So, that's what all teachers and coaches and everything strive for, is to teach them better, teach them about life, not just about history and the math and the basketball and baseball and all this other stuff, but about life in general.
Yeah, and I think that all wrapped up in that is how to compete, because there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs, and you're going to have to learn how to deal with everything. But just walking out on that floor or out on that court or out on that football field and just competing and giving everything you've got and just let the chips fall. Because one thing about it, at the end of the day, the sun's going to come up tomorrow. Win or lose, that's important, and it's always great to win, and you always want to lift that big trophy, just like with Coach Tidmore. They won the 2020 Girls Championship, and that's a great thing, and that's every coach's goal, but there's a whole lot to it than that.
Yeah, absolutely, and Coach Tidmore, we'll go ahead and talk about him a little bit, give him, as a young kid say, we'll give him his flowers a little bit right now. He won the state title in the girls division. Year in, year out, between the girls and the boys, they're usually at Jacksonville. And it's got to be, Phil, I was thinking about this earlier, it's got to be hard for him because they jump from 2A to 3A every 2 to 3 years. And so he's not going against the same people all the time, like you got Geraldines and Sylvania and up until this year, Plainviews are usually in the same region, same area. They know each other, but, Plainview's going 4A. But, with Collinsville, one year they're going to be in the same area or region with the people like Fife and all that. And then the next time it could be a Spring Garden, Cedar Bluff type deal. And
yeah.
So what's your thoughts on that,
Well, it kind of hurts your natural rivals because naturally they still want to play Spring Garden, Sandrock, people like that. But it changes things a lot. Of course, this past year, Collinsville had a pretty good year. Really and truly, of course, things happened. They had to forfeit some games with Will Brooks and company. There was a golden opportunity for them to get to the Final Four. I mean, they lost in the area semifinals because they got dropped to the 4 seed to the team that won the Northeast Region tournament, and I think it was by 4 points maybe in the area tournament. So this team very well could have gotten to the Final Four. Well, now they move up to Class 3A, and they're in with Geraldine, and they're in with Sylvania, and also with Fife. And of course, in boys basketball, I think that's going to be a very, very competitive area. I mean, I don't think you could really pick a clear winner. Geraldine was in the Final Four, but they've lost a few. Coach Hicks is going to be good. Anytime a Glenn Hicks coach team's around, this will be his second year, so you're going to see marked improvement in the program. And of course, Cooper coming back at 5. Make them good. Middlebrooks is still going to be back, and then they've got a couple of key players back on Collinsville's team, so it's going to be very competitive. And on the girls' side, and that's the one thing with Coach Tidmore that I admire, how in the world to coach 2 teams, but he's able to spread things out. Of course, I guess he gets a lot of help from his assistant coaches. He has to. And, looking at the girls' side, they struggled last year, but now they move into an area with Jordan Sylvania and 5 that's trying. All 4 of these teams are trying to get a foothold. So it's going to be competitive on the girls' side also in that area.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the questions I was going to ask him was, if you didn't ask, was how do you plan for, him coaching girls and boys, this back-to-back games? How do you who takes care of the boys while you're out there coaching the girls as far as getting them pregame prepared, as far as getting ready to step on the floor, because usually that's when the coach gathers everybody together, give them the pep talk, go over the last, hey, here's what we've talked about in practice. Let's go ahead and do this. Does he have just one particular assistant that does that, or how does he take care of all that?
Yeah, I'm sure he's probably very good at delegating. He has to be. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I remember a story of a fellow, I know he's not with us anymore, Mark Plunkett. His daughter played at Collinsville, and they had a tournament here where the boys played in one place and the girls played in another. So, Coach Tidmore went with the boys, and there's a couple of assistants went and coached the girls' game. Well, Mark said, he goes, they just didn't show up. He said, I don't know what it was for the girls. He said they had been playing well, and they just simply didn't show up. This was back in the time when they was pretty good, probably around the 2017, 18 time when his daughter was playing, when Coach Tidmore's daughter was playing. And he asked his daughter, he goes, what happened to y'all? He goes, y'all been playing well, and then today you just look like you hadn't even seen a basketball all year long. And she goes, I don't know, Dad. He's the only thing I can think of is maybe it's because Coach Tidmore wasn't here to yell at us. So, when he's not around, they use that because, coaches, kids, if they're coached hard, they expect to be coached hard. That's like if you're in and you have an easy day with him, so, Lord, is he mad at us? So he coaches him hard. He definitely does. Watching him over the years, he kind of reminds me of the way Pat Summitt used to do. Coach Tidmore, he's got a little bit of a temper sometimes, but sometimes he just has that kind of scowl look where he's mad at you. You can feel the hair stand up on your neck, but you don't even want to see his face because he's mad. So, that's funny how he is, but that's just the way he does things. And I'm sure it's a great motivating factor. Sometimes he don't have to say a word.
Yeah, absolutely. And like my point I was trying to get to earlier is one or both of his teams are normally at Jacksonville every year or in the sub-region to get to Jacksonville. And, give him credit for coaching both teams and being able to do that with both teams. And, he's one of them that has done it for years. And the other one that did it for quite a while was Ronnie McCarver when he was at Skyline, So, but Coach Tidmore does a great job with Collinsville boys and girls. Regardless of what they have coming back, he works them so hard during the summer that they improve so much that they're right there year in and year out. Yeah,
So, he's been there since 2004, 2005, I think was the first year he took over. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, in about 2013, I think he was county boys and girls coach of the year at the same time. How many times you've ever seen something like that happen?
Yeah, no, hardly ever because nobody's.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you ask the other coaches, they're not crazy enough to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says a
So,
lot about him. But and you have to look at Collinsville. Of course, they've got some great coaches down there. Coach Erdy and Willingham. I know he said in one of the media days, he said, Coach Tidmore is a better football coach than he is basketball coach. He goes, I'm going to tell you that right now. He said, I think you ought to be coaching football. But just goes to show you that, what kind of coach he has become over the years. But, in Collinsville, since 1963, they had 3 basketball coaches, L.D. Dobbins, Neil Thrash, and John Tidmore. That's all I've had. So you talk about a solid program year in, year out. And when you're playing at 1A and 2A, you're oftentimes playing bigger schools than you are. So sometimes the record deceiving.
Yeah, absolutely. And for that, Coach Tidmore and them, they're finally getting that new gym in Collinsville that's been long overdue. And I think they'll be playing. I think they play games in it this year. Is that right, Phil?
Yeah, they started this year. Yeah, right after the first year was their first game. Of course, it's named after Donnie Jones. But yeah, that's a long time coming. When I had my route down there, I watched them, a little bit of time build that thing up. Now I haven't been to it, but they said it. I've seen pictures of it, and it is really nice on the inside, and it's something that community needs. And of course, they've got bleachers coming for football too. And, Collinsville's a growing area. It's not a town anymore. It's actually a city. So, Coach Tidmore's talking about them being 3A. One of these days they could be 4A. So, but, they've had a long tradition for sports. And, on top of that, too, look at their baseball team this year. I think, 22-5 or something like going into the playoffs in Class 2A. And they beat several big schools. They come in second in the county behind Plainview in baseball. And their baseball program's very good too.
Yeah, absolutely. And from what I've been told from a friend of the show, John Seals, his son plays down there at Collinsville. They don't expect no slack in the baseball for the next several years because they've got some good young players coming up as well. So, a lot of good things happening there at Collinsville, and not just on the baseball side, but with the football side and basketball as well. And their soccer team has won a state title as well. So, a lot of things happening in a small little area down there in the Collinsville community.
Yeah, I think their soccer team won the first DeKalb County soccer championship. There was before, but they won it last weekend. So, their program is very good, very good.
The first ever county soccer tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think they were the first. I'm not going to. Yeah, they were the first county school to ever win a soccer state championship. Yeah. What?
Of course, Fort Wayne won in 6A last year. Yeah, I think Collinsville that kind of put soccer on the map. Of course, Crossville's pretty competitive too, but I think Collinsville kind of put soccer on the map in DeKalb County.
Yeah, Fort Payne's won several states in soccer, but they're not. They're in DeKalb County, but I was mainly in county schools. So, looking forward to the next few weeks coming up. Got a lot of good guests coming up, and our man behind the scenes, Randy on the IR. Hopefully he'll be recovered pretty soon and be able to be back on here. And you've seen him pop in or out a couple of times, and he's at a track meet with his daughter. I don't know where she gets all that athletic ability. It sure ain't from Randy. I know that.
No. There's no telling where that came from. And, of course, I want to tell you this story that I don't know if this is true. It's just what I heard. But I understand, when Randy fell and hurt himself and messed his shoulder up, naturally they're going to do a CAT scan to make sure everything's okay. Well, I understand the first CAT scan, they really couldn't find anything. So they had to do another one. So doing the CAT scan on his brain, they ended up having to charge him a finder's fee. So,
yeah, well, I hear him in the background there. He's fixing to say something, I think. So.
Yeah. That's one thing about if I can get a chance, I'm going to throw him under the bus. Got to.
Yeah, absolutely. And, great shows coming up.
Listen, I got a bad shoulder, and I've been out here waiting on my kid for about 2 hours to get from a soccer today.
There's that pretty face makes ours look better, Phil.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I said. We look like movie stars, So, yeah. So, yeah, but I got to be glad for Manley because like anything, like me and Howie was talking about. Anytime you can get young people involved in sports, it's great for them, great for their self-esteem. And just be competitive. It means a lot, and it goes a long way when you get a little older like us.
Yeah, absolutely. And it kind of goes back to what when we had Robbie Coker on here last week. He said that back when he played, and which I'm older than he is, so even back further then, when I was at Savannah, my senior year, we was 4A. So our basketball area consisted of Savannah, Gurley at the time. There wasn't Madison County; they were Gurley then, North Jackson, and Buckhorn. And so there was no social media, there was no cell phones and stuff like that. So we didn't know who was who from all these other schools, But now, everybody knows everybody because of social media and all this stuff. So it not only is it the competitiveness, but you also make lifelong friends that, yeah, you may not see them every day, but you got a way of communicating with them with the cell phones now, with the technology that we got.
Yeah, because back in the old days when we played against each other, you kind of sort of, if you played each other enough, you'd get familiar with each other. Then maybe you would see each other out somewhere and you'd have a conversation. You get to know each other that way. But it was a one-on-one thing. It wasn't a social media thing. And you might meet each other, during county basketball tournament. If you went to basketball games, there's a lot of times that's when we would meet players that we played against. So in basketball games, most times, and of course, really, you have a little more when you play baseball. You get to talk to each other a little bit more because if somebody's on base, you'll get to talking to them and you get to know each other. So baseball is a little bit different where you can reach out and speak. During a football game, you don't talk very much. But it's a lot different today. And I think it's good for these kids to get to know each other. The biggest thing is we want them to do nowadays is be so, that's the thing for them because that's what gets you in life. You got to be able to communicate with each other. You can't, because being able to play games on a video game, being able to work your cell phone is not going to get you very far in life because the social part of it is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. And the only sport I played was basketball. And so when we were lining up shooting free throws, that's when I'd talk to the people. We'd be standing there shooting 2 shots, whatever. So I'd talk to the guy next to me and I did not have a clue who the guys from Buckhorn and Gurley and all that was. But when we played against people from Valley Head, and I was talking to Charlton Bell and playing against Ider at Jason Goolsby and Plainview with Hal Cole and Anthony Smith and those guys there and the Jones twins at Collinsville, and so you got to know them on the court, but that's about the only time you got to see them, unless kind of like what Coach Coker said, and you went to the county tournament and Sand Mountain tournament, and you got to see them there because that was the only thing that you had going on around here was to go to those events and show up at those places.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that.
So, all right, let's do a quick rundown of everything, and then we'll let you get back to your vacation, Phil, and you and Chrissy have a good time out there. So let's do a quick rundown of who we know that we got coming on roughly. Coach Starkey's coming on, I think, next week. Coach Smith is coming on from Geraldine the week after that. Do you know more about it than I do, I think. So,
well, I think he's got Randy's got somebody scheduled the week after. I can't remember. It's Coach Starkey, and then it was I don't know. Was it Hickson's football coach? I think he's coming back on the week after Coach Smith. I think is what he has lined up. And the rest of the dates we don't have a definite set, except for Coach Benefit on June 17th. And of course, some of the ones that I've got lined up that's going to come on, well, I don't think we discussed this, is Coach Grant of Ider is going to come back on. Around spring football, kind of short shows because we just want to kind of talk about spring football, what you got coming back, what do you see for, in the future. Like with Coach Grant, they're dropping down to 1A. We want to talk to him about that. Yeah, it's going to help them in football, but it's going to hurt them at the gate. That's something that's concerned. I talked to their principal the other day, Tyler Brooks, and we discussed that. He goes, yeah, it's going to kill us at the gate. And that's definitely so. But if you get your football team back on the program, because Ider will be back to 2A probably in 2 years. But, talk to Coach Hammond about the future of his football program. And, of course, I want to try to get Coach Chris Elmore at Fort Payne, see if he'll come on. I'd like to talk with him some because, being in 6A in Fort Payne, they do pretty well in sports and football. Man, when you get to 6A, you're going against the Giants.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's crazy about it is, go ahead, Randy.
It's Coach Hobbs from Sequatchie County that's going to be on.
It's going to be on after Coach Smith.
Yes, Coach Hobbs.
I think Hickson's coach going to be on after, right after spring practice and around the 20th of May.
Yes, and that's going to be their offensive coordinator, their starting quarterback, and the team captains. And we're going to talk, and we'll have some live interviews from the spring game the Friday before with Coach Rivers. It's going to kind of be a hodgepodge of different people. Also going to have an interview probably with the middle school coach to play that Friday or the 20th too.
Okay. All right.
5 minutes.
Yeah, of course, there's others we want to reach out to. Coach Luke Pruitt at Pisgah, we want to try to get him back on, talk about spring football. There'll be a time where we have a couple of guests on the same night, maybe 30-minute segments with both of them to try to get everybody we can in before actually summer gets going because, football is a year-round thing, and it's just one of those things. Everybody enjoys it at any time, and of course, they want their time off during the summer, but right around spring practice, a lot of them, they'll want to visit with us a little bit and let us know what they think.
And if there's any coach out there,
and Coach Starkey, what a great story.
Go ahead, Randy.
Coach Starkey last year. Coach Starkey goes 10-0 at Marion County after going 5-5 in year one. So that's a great story. He goes from, not making the playoffs to be the number 2 ranked team in the state. So great turnaround, Coach Starkey, that we've got to talk to next week.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I was getting at is if any coach, any sport, anywhere that has any fundraisers that they want to put on here for RiverCity-Media to promote, let us know. We'll get them on. We'll get them on here for you. We'll get you on here, let you talk about it for a few minutes as well. We had Coach Coker on last week. He's got a golf tournament coming up. So if I think he still needs 5 teams as of last week. It's a 3-man scramble. So if anybody wants to get involved in that in the golf tournament that Fort Payne basketball is having, contact Coach Robbie Coker at Fort Payne. He'll get you signed up. I think he said it's $100 a person to get in it. And I know there's a lot more summertime rolling around, Phil. You know what that means in Jackson DeKalb County. It's fundraisers like crazy, not just for football, but everything going on.
Yeah, I think I saw Coach Kerry Ellison at Pisgah. They've got a golf tournament, I think, coming up. They've got a fundraiser for that. And like what you're saying about coaches, any that's have listened to this and wants to be on, contact one of us on Facebook, Randy or you or myself, and show us, that you want to be interested in coming on. Because, everybody we've reached out to, nobody's told us no. And, and it's a good platform, and we hope to grow this more and more. It's a lot of fun, and it's what I enjoy about it is getting to know these folks. Like, I want to know what John Tidmore, what does he do in his off time? I know he's got a grandson now, and his life's kind of built around that. But, I want to know some of those things of what does he do with his free time, what little he has, I'm sure, because there's more to life than being a teacher and a coach. You have a personal life, and you want to know some of what his interests are, and it's interesting to get to know that, because I think that helps, a parent-coach relationship, where if you kind of know something about the guy, or you know something about him, or you figure out you may like him, you're going to be less critical of that coach. I just feel like if you feel like you know the person, and a perfect example is Dan Hicks. Now, you don't bother him at practice time or a game time, but probably any other time you can approach him and he'll talk to you about anything except for maybe playing time for a kid. But he's very approachable. Most of these coaches are. They just don't like to be bothered at game time or practice time because that's the kids' time and they don't want to be interrupted.
Yeah, absolutely. And, somebody I've been around for years was Coach Benefield, and he's the same way. He's willing to talk to anybody at any time, but when it's game time and practice time, that's his time.
Yeah.
That's him. His 30 to 40 adopted kids for the next 3 or 4 years. That's their time together. And,
yeah.
But
he wants to be productive with them and give them their time because they deserve his time. Because he's the one that they have to do the work, but he has the one that kind of sort of polish the apple, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, if there's anybody who wants to be on here, reach out to us, let us know. We got some between me, you, and Randy. We've got we know quite a few people, and we've been able to keep the guests coming through, rolling through. I got a couple more that I'm going to throw out to y'all and see if y'all, which I know y'all would want them to come on. It's just seeing when we could get them on here.
Yeah,
that's the big thing. Is just get them on here. Not only on RiverCity-Media here with Beyond the Booth, but we did a show last night. Me and Randy and Jeremy. Let's see, great information. It was just posted on there.
Yeah, that's from my mother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's a little partial. Yeah,
there we go. RiverCity-Media was on last night. We did a wrestling show Beyond the Booth, me and Randy and Jeremy. I've got some people in the works. I got talked to him Saturday at the Georgia Tech spring game. Clayton Powell Lee, the starting safety for Georgia Tech. He's going to enter his junior year. He's going to be on here sometime during the summer sometime. He's got a lot of stuff going on right now, but good story. I don't know if you heard about it, Phil, or not, when he was on the show the first time, but his dad was a former Georgia Tech player, wide receiver, got a scholarship to go to Georgia Tech, wasn't expecting to play a whole lot. The starting safety broke his leg. They plugged him right in that first game against Florida State, I think it was, at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and he hasn't left the spot yet. He's been starting ever since. And,
it's amazing how that works out. Man.
Yeah, absolutely. And talked to him for a few minutes after the spring game. Talked to his mama and his uncle, and they've adopted me in as they're calling me his uncle now. So I'm Clayton's uncle now so we got him coming in sometime soon, and then we got the in-game entertainment person for the Atlanta Falcons, Chelsea Phillips. That's going to be coming back on here for long. Randall Cunningham says needs sleep. Randall needs sleep. So if he wouldn't text us at midnight telling us who's going to be on the show, maybe you could get some sleep.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, that could be true there. Of course, and two other guests we're planning on, and this is what we're kind of on in the future, is have more athletes on. Especially at the high school. I talked to one athlete's mother at a softball game because of course I explained to her we don't want to exploit them in any way or cause them any anything bad to come their way. We just like to have them on because you want to know their interest. You want to know the process of recruiting and all those types of things because it helps other kids. If you've got one that's being recruited, they can give them some pointers on how the process works. That's like having Northeast College now having softball. You're going to have 12, 15 players that's going to get to play at the next level that normally wouldn't. And so they'll get to spend 2 years at Northeast playing softball. And who knows, they may go on to a 4-year school. But any time, I know they signed 2 out of Ider. Of course, one went to Gadsden State. But I think that's wonderful for Northeast to get sports back up and going. They've got women's golf and men's golf, and they're going to have softball. And who knows what that's going to lead to. But it's definitely good. It's definitely good for our Northeast Alabama area.
They also got track and field there in Northeast now.
Yeah.
I think it's cross country. So, they're at Northeast. And you mentioned Gadsden State. We've, I wasn't part of it, but Randy had Gadsden State's girls softball coach on. My mind went blank. I can't even think
Coach
of his name.
Clark.
Coach Clark.
Yeah.
He was on there and he talked, and that's having a local person at Gadsden State could help these girls around here get scholarships that they normally wouldn't get as well.
Yeah. Of course, Randy touched on that too. They kind of want it scripted because they wanted to make sure, because they have to kind of okay that at the college level. But then Randy said they reached out and may want us to have, their other sports coaches on. Of course, I guess we'll have to kind of script everything because we don't want them to give wrong answers. But that's a learning process for us too. But it's great exposure, for the area, for these kids that are playing and looking to play at the next level. And and also will help Coach Clark in recruiting.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're listening to the show now or watching, however, go to Facebook, go to YouTube, go to any of those platforms. You can find River City Media. Hit the like button, subscribe to us, and leave a 5-star comment. And that helps us out tremendously. Gets the information out to more people. Everybody's been doing a great job of that. So spread the word. Just tell everybody that hey, here's a River City Media. Go and like it and everything. Randy, what other platforms are we on? Twitter as well. Randy can hear me. He just ain't going to answer.
He ain't going to answer. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So
because of course, our goal is to, to get as much exposure to everybody as can, because it's great for these kids. Because you want to put them on a pedestal. Because I know doing the scoreboard show, I get feedback all the time about they like the positive message we give and the feedback to the kids, and everybody listens to scoreboard on Friday nights, and that's great to hear. But it's about these kids, and that's the most important thing. You want them to feel good about themselves. I want as many to compete as they can. I wish every one of them could win a state championship. But that's not the most important thing. But I think it's great. Any kind of exposure when you can mention kids on radio, it means a lot for their families, especially when you've got stories to tell. And a lot of times these families will find out stories that we'll share that they didn't know about. So, and that's good for the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're listening, watching, hit all the social medias up, go in, like them, subscribe, leave us a review, leave a comment. And if there's any coach out there that wants to be on the show, reach out to Phil or Randy or myself. We'll get you on. We don't want to step on toes as far as, I don't know who Phil has reached out to. I don't know who Randy has reached out to. But, I've got a couple of people's numbers that I'm going to reach out to once I contact or talk to you two and make sure y'all haven't reached out to them. But we don't bombard people with 3 texts in a row from me, you, and Randy at the same time asking, hey, will you come on to the show? So we're trying to spread this stuff out a little bit. And so we got other people we're going to hit up, try to get to come on here. But if you want to come on here, and like I said, it's summertime here in Northeast Alabama. That means it's fixing to be spring, summer. It's going to be money-making time. It's going to be crap. I can't even think of what I'm trying to say. What is it? The making money. What
Fundraisers.
Fundraisers. There we go.
Yeah.
It's been a long day. It's fundraiser time here in North Alabama. I know Sylvania Soccer's got a bingo fundraiser coming up either this Saturday or next Saturday. It's a bingo that's going to take place at the lunchroom at Sylvania. So if people like playing bingo, contact Sylvania Soccer or contact the school there at Sylvania and say, hey, how do I get involved with the bingo game that's going to take place either this Saturday or next Saturday one? I can't remember which one it is. And Fort Payne's got the golf tournament you talked about. I saw where Coach Ellison and Coach Blaine Smith they're having a Pisgah Eagle basketball golf tournament. I actually played in it 2 years ago, I think it was. Great time, a lot of great golfers out there at Dogwood Hills. I assume that's where it's going to be at again this year. But contact Coach Ellison, contact Coach Smith or Pisgah High School to find out for sure when it's going to be and when you can sign up. The year that I played in it, it was on a Sunday morning, Sunday Sunday morning around 11 or 12 o'clock. And so, reach out and support these people. The money makers are the football programs, of course, because they're going to have a lot of people coming in. But on the flip side, you got the volleyball, you got the softball, baseball, basketball, and all this. They need help as well. So help pay out as much as you can.
Yeah, and that goes back to what we talked about last week when we were talking to Coach Coker about athletics has become an investment. They're putting a lot of money into it because, used to the schools got enough money. They paid for cloth and paid for everything they needed when it come to athletics. Well, it's hard to do that now. So now athletics is an investment because you need to make money, especially on the football end, because a lot of times it carries your whole athletic club, whole athletic department, because you've got so many sports now, and some of them are non-revenue sports. So it's very expensive, but you want as many kids participating as you can. And you was talking about fundraisers. I know Valley Head's got a fundraiser, I think, where they're giving away a truck at the spring football game. And also I know their athletic club will have that $10,000 giveaway. I think it's coming up too. So there's all kind of fundraisers going around for all these schools. I know Fife usually does $10,000 giveaway every year, but it's important for these kids. Sometimes we get nickel and dime to death, but it comes back to you when you help. Yeah,
absolutely. Sylvania football and baseball go in together and do the $10,000 giveaway as well. They had it just a couple months ago, but there's always ways that you can actually help out. So, but unfortunately, if you hopped on here hoping to see Coach John Tidmore, he had a family emergency he had to take care of, help his mom and dad out with something. Nothing major, just family comes first, and I understand that, and I know Phil does as well. So we'll get Coach Tidmore rescheduled here as soon as possible and get him back on here. And so, Phil, you got any closing remarks, and before you head out?
I hate it. That Coach Tidmore couldn't be on, but maybe if we have to get him on a Tuesday or something to reschedule that way. But maybe I can win my fortune out here in Las Vegas, and I can just kind of. I told my wife if I ever won like the lottery, I said I'd divvy it out to all the schools around the area where, they wouldn't have to worry so much about, financial, issues. But maybe I'll hit my fortune out here and I'll be able to share some.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope you and Miss Chrissy have a great time. Enjoy yourself, and take in as many shows. No, Randall, we're not going to have a Randall High School.
Yeah. Lord. Now we could have that. The School of Glass Lickers. So,
we could. I guess you could buy Randy a brand new short bus to drive around.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. He'd have to sit in the back. You'd have to name the back seat after him.
Make sure that back window is peppermint flavored.
Yeah. There you go.
So, Phil, it's been great. You and Miss Chrissy have a great time. Be safe. Have a safe trip back home. Looking forward to running into you somewhere and talking to you sooner than later. And good luck. Always bet on black. I'm not sure why, but just bet on black if you go and take those chances.
Well, I do have my shirt on from the Las Vegas, Golden Knights for hockey. So I bought me a shirt while I was out here. So I thought I'd for the show. It's a lot of fun out here. This is my 8th trip to Las Vegas. I'm not much of a gambler, but it's just so much great sightseeing, a lot of the shows. We're going to see the B-52s on Wednesday. So, it's fun to come out here and get away for a little while anyway, because, life's too busy and need to enjoy things a little bit every once in a while.
You're like me when I go to places like that. You're a people watcher. You enjoy watching people's.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love it. That's the best part about going to Tennessee football games. You've got stories to tell to the people around you. And that's what makes it more fun than anything. Yeah,
absolutely. I remember the first time Aaron McKenzie says bubble wrap. So and RiverCity-Media, Randy says Black 18 Peyton Manning. So, so I remember the first time I took you to a Atlanta Falcons game, first pro game I think you ever been to. It was
Yeah.
Falcons, Green Bay Packers, and Brett Favre was still there. And I had to do a little bit of talking to get you to go to it because you said, I go to Tennessee games all the time. I said, it's a little different, man. It's a little different. So you went with me, and halfway through the game, you looked at me wide-eyed. You was like, Brett Favre's a lot faster in person than he is on TV.
Yeah.
I said, they're a lot. It's a different game, different speed when you see it in person than on TV.
Yeah.
So,
Footwork is so important, in pro football, and there's not many windows to throw through. You got to throw it through a window. It's amazing live pro game versus the college game and high school game. It is, it's something to see if you've never seen it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I got you your first experience on the MARTA train system, and we got on there and got on a cart that was in a car that was a lot of adult people drinking adult beverages that was in a really, really good mood. And I forgot what somebody said something, and I've never heard or saw you laugh as much as you did on that train coming back from the game. So, but yeah, just going to Vegas, people watching all that, it's got to be great. Enjoy that. So, but I'll quit rambling on.
Yeah, hey, it's all walks of life. You see just about everything out here, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of sightseeing. Nobody's ever come enjoy. Come and do it. They call it Sin City, but there's so much more to do than that. You stay away from those kind of things, but there's a lot to see, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, but you better bring your fat wallet with you though.
Yeah, absolutely. So, for Randall Cunningham, that's behind the scenes with his on the IR with his broken shoulder. Phil Harris out in Las Vegas, trying to get some vacation away from Valley Head. I'm Howie Janney from High Point. This is Beyond the Booth. Good night and God bless.
We're clear.
Now, waiting on Randy to mash clear. We're still on here. We're still live. Randy, you can mash the end button anytime you want to, buddy.
Did he fall asleep on us?
I think he did.
Yeah.
Talking about some sleep earlier. I think he did fall asleep.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to go ahead and click off of here, go on. Randy can end it whenever he gets ready to. I know he's listening because he's been sending messages. So, everybody have a great week, and I will talk to everybody soon.
Night, folks.